guys, welcome to Hatchsput Economics, Hatchsput, and it's your girl Connie. I'm not feeling so great today. If it's your first time coming here, welcome, welcome. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. And if you've been here before, you know what it is, you know what it is. Please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to get notifications. You're going to like my channel. My channel is for the economic empowerment and financial achievement of women of color, particularly African American women. So I know we all seen this Mary Claire article from the author, and you guys know I am the Batman of facts. I am the Dark Knight of nerdity. I made that word up, nerdity. Okay, and I just wanted to research her because a lot of things she cited in the article were not factual. It was just not factual. Black people are not getting married because of taxes. That would actually be a luxury because that means we'll be hitting a certain income bracket. Black people are not getting married because of health insurance, and Black people are not getting married because of graduate school loans. Because most African American people don't get married from the ages of 19 to 24, which would be your undergrad if you're in college. Most people in America, over 80%, the marriage average range has now been, I think, not think because I know from the United States Census Bureau, what is it now? 27 years old for women and about 30 for men. So that would push you to earning a graduate degree. So in order for you to even be remotely affected by some type of marriage due to your school loans, you would have to be getting a graduate degree. I have a graduate degree, so it's not about me saying it's not foreseeable, but most African American people are not getting married because the loans affecting their graduate degree. But even so, that's just not how it goes. So I was just interested in this young lady, beautiful lady, by the way. And I'm a fellow Caribbean. I am Jamaican, so Jamaican American, my entire family. I am the first one to be an American citizen in my entire family, in my entire immediate family. So I could really identify with being a Caribbean American. But what I found interesting is she has this article called, this is the same young lady, Tiffany, that wrote the article, Mary Claire. And she has this article called Goodbye to My American Dream. It says, my mom moved us here for a better life, but as a Black woman, I'm tired of loving a country that can't love me back. So just to short and summarize this, she basically said she does not love this country. She doesn't love the United States. And she was tired of loving a country that didn't love her back. And it's hard for me to say that because I am from the Caribbean and I'm very familiar with Caribbean culture. Um, Caribbean culture can be very racist, even more than American culture, because we do have extensive colorism in the Caribbean. Trinidad is not a peaceful country in return to racism. I know that because I'm from the Caribbean, and even though the actual location for Trinidad is pushed down more further to South America, a simple Google and you'll be able to see the racial tensions in Trinidad. There's a lot of racial issues, and it's New York, America is not perfect, but they're not nowhere near what we see here in America in terms of interracial marriages or intermarriage between people that live on the same island is very low. So it's just very interesting she took that twist. But let's continue on here. On the day of college graduation, I told my friends and family news I was leaving the country I lived in since childhood. So I just want to pause right there. You came here like my family did. America has amazing economic advantages. That's why we come here, because the Caribbean has massive challenges with economics. It's beautiful. We love the Caribbean, no matter what island you're from. But let's face it, there's a lot of corruption and challenges in the Caribbean island. We can sit here and argue all day why, but I'm just telling you the actual facts. Remember, I'm the Batman of facts. So I found it a little bit slightly that she earned her degree, probably received a lot of financial aid, and I can tell you she did because of the cost of the school she went to. She went to one of the best private, newer modern schools, and we're going to look at that as well. But and she got her undergraduate. She has a bachelor's, I believe, a bachelor's in science and writing. We're going to look through all that. But to come here to this country and get the education and go to college, there's a lot of beautiful experiences. All of our experiences are different, but I have a similar experience because I went to private school, Catholic school, pre-K to 8th grade. I went to private colleges. Both of my colleges were private. I went to an Ivy League school. I went to Cornell. So I can identify, with the opportunities, but there's definitely an abundance of things that I found myself to be proud. If you've been here since childhood, you should see yourself as an American. If you've been here since childhood, there should be some type of connection to this country. So it's really important that I capture that in the beginning of this essay. So I'm going to read the rest of it now. I just need a change. I told them, but they were not moved. Was it some romance that gone awry, they wondered? Some impulsive response to a broken heart? And I was running from a heartbreak. My relationship with the United States of America is the most tumultuous relationship I've ever had. And it ended with a heart-rending realization that the country I loved and believed in did not love me back. So just to make it sure, she got to the point where she got her degree. She's a successful college graduate from a top private school in New York. I guess if it was that bad for her, she wouldn't have graduated. There's so many African American people who truly encounter things in the world. They encounter things that happen, in their life, and they don't finish college, or they have challenges and they just can't economically finish. She actually is one of the few that went to this really prestigious private school, received a bachelor's in science and writing, and she still doesn't say anything positive about her experience here, which is fine. That's her opinion. But I'm going to show you why it's important to see why her opinion matters. All right. So back in the 90s, my mother brought me from our home in the Caribbean islands to the United States, along with my brother and sister. I was 4 years old. So let's pause. She's been here since 4 years old. She should see herself as an American. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. She worked as a live-in nanny for 2 years, playing mommy for white kids whose parents had better things to do. Even that in itself was a very racist, discriminatory. I'm very surprised at that comment. A live-in nanny in New York makes a lot of money. If you don't believe me, we'll do a search right now. I'm actually doing a random search. Okay, we're going to Indeed. I have no idea what's going to happen. This is New York, New York, my hometown. I'm going to put in live in nanny. Hope you guys can see that on the screen capture when I play this video back. All right. And you can see live in nanny, $55,000 a year. Live in nanny, $80,000 to $90,000 a year. Live in weekend nanny, $50,000 to $75,000 a year. Live in nanny for Tribeca home, $75,000 to $120,000 a year. Live in nanny, $1,000 part time. Live in nanny, $100,000 to $130,000 per year. Experienced full time nanny, live in nanny, $60,000 to $90,000 a year. $70,000 for Fridays, Tuesdays, full time 2 days. $68,000 to $70,000. Okay. This is a housekeeper newborn live in, $200 per day. So I did that to show you that this is not a crappy job. A live-in nanny is a prestigious job. You're taking care of somebody's child. And for what I know, it's not a poor paying job. Being a nanny is a respectable profession. But I get the things that she's looking at this from a very negative perspective, which is her right as an American, which she doesn't take advantage of, but it's her right. But I just want to clarify, as we go along here. She worked as a living nanny for 2 years, playing mommy for white kids whose parents had better things to do. She took trips to the Hamptons and even flew on private jet to California as the help. So she probably was making a very good salary. This wasn't a regular nanny. This was a nanny to wealthy people. She was making a good salary. I just showed you guys the salaries for living nannies in New York. My mom didn't believe that nanny meant maid, but she did whatever was asked of her. Yeah, a live-in nanny means you are taking care of the children, but you're living in. And what they do should pertain to the children, not whatever. They're not going to ask her to do taxes. They're not going to ask her to fix a car. They're not going to ask her to paint the house. It's not that serious because she has to be available for the children. So obviously anything that they're asking her to do has to be related to the children, or unless their children will be unsupervised. And I'm sure that's not what the parents want. My mom didn't believe that nanny meant maid, but she did whatever was asked of her because she was thirsty. Even this right here, very degrading to your own mother. My mom is Jamaican. She would box all 32 teeth out of my mouth if I was to write an article like this about her. That's just the way I was raised. But anyway, she had a thirst that could only be quenched by the American dream. One day she thought her children would be educated. One day they might have nannies of her own. What's wrong with that? And she is educated. She is. She's writing articles for Mary Claire. She made it. She's doing well. But I like the way she broke into Mary Claire. I want black women to start listening to the people who are giving you advice. Okay? This person has issues with the United States. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. It's right here. You can read the article. I'm going to put the link in the description box. She has issues with the United States. Okay? And uh, you can see right there, that was our path. Get a good education. And you got it. When the neighborhoods with quality schools became too expensive for a mom to afford a single parent with 3 kids, we transversed the United States with greatschools.net as our compass. Look how intelligent this woman is. She's an amazing mom. Her mom actually looked on the map of the United States and looked at greatschools.net. Your mom was amazing. Your mom is my hero for the day. You have an amazing mom. Even that aspect that she was able to do that, you just glassed over it. Like New Jersey, elementary school, decent, mostly Hispanic school. Not white, Hispanic, even though my gifted and talented program was predominantly Indian. Texas Middle School. Found a great school for you guys, my mom said, while rain poured into our car through the open windows, where the straps of our mattresses were tied down. It had an A grade and was 70% white. Florida High School. Hey, Tiffany, you should have this egg. It's the only one brown like you, my classmate told AP Biology. Philadelphia, Hawaii, Northeast, Southeast, West car, U-Haul, Greyhound, plane train, New York City, private university. I really want to write an essay on being the gentrifier. One courageous young man pitched in journalism class. I was one of only 2 people who were disturbed. So I'm not too sure what she's upset about here. Her mom was doing their best to put them into the best school for the best opportunity to get the best education. But yet she seems even dissatisfied with that. I'm trying my best to keep an open mind. Um, this is where it gets really sketchy, guys. Because remember, she's saying she's not fond of America. She didn't have a good experience. But yet she was able to break in to mainstream publication in a magazine that's predominantly white. How many black sisters do you know read Mary Claire? And I'm a reader. I don't. But yet, she used the sorrow, the vulnerability, and the opportunity to degrade black women in a white publication with false facts. Even if you're going to write an article like that, when I go to Essence, when I go to Ebony, when I go to Jet, go to BET, or contact any black woman and speak to her, any black female publication. Why would you go to Mary Claire? So she's actually trashing us to a white female magazine. I think it's hilarious. I'm not going to make this video long because I don't think it's worth my time. I really don't want to make it too long. But I just want to show black women to be careful of where you get information of. This is a young lady who came to this country when she was 4, just like my family. We came from Jamaica. She got a great education. She got a bachelor's in science from a private school, which I'm sure she had to get financially because it's really expensive. No offense to her, but she's here talking bad about her mom, saying her mom was a maid and saying it in a derogatory way. I don't think a maid is bad. I just showed you on Indeed how much a maid makes. And her mom was a maid for rich people on the jet. So I'm pretty sure she wasn't getting paid Burger King. All right, let's continue. For as long time I surveyed by covering myself in labels. For a long time I survived, by covering myself in labels. Her mother dressed her well. I'd accumulated over the years. I plastered each one to my body with super glue, as if they're a post-it note, reminding us that I was someone. Sports fanatic, hot pink, feminist, beautiful, writer, comedian, fashionista, friend, fuchsia, yellow, purple, red, green. I hid behind them. They were my only shields. Green covered my eyes when a childhood friend's family banged down my front door and demanded the door to get out of the house full of blacks. Blue protected my heart when my black peers ostracized my enjoyment of complete complex sentences. So she's insulting black people, black women. This is why I'm the Batman of facts. I'm only going to tell y'all this one more time. This is the last type of article I will do like this on Access Economics because I'm here to make you guys get some money. I'm financially successful. I own several properties. I'm doing well. I want you guys to do well. I want you guys to deflect from negativity. We talked about law of attraction on my last video. This is negative. And this girl's using her negativity to degrade us. We as black women, we have an amazing opportunity right now. We got the Black Panther movie. I'm going to do another video on that. I'm really excited about that, where we can actually utilize our ability to sell, where we can actually convince other networks to, go out there and connect with us because we need to get into the tech. We need to get into entrepreneurship. We need to get into the stock market, but we can't do that exclusively without networking. And we're going to network with other people, other demographics. But if we have women like this, this is a derogatory article. It's not even the worst. I'm actually going to continue keep going. It gets worse, but I just want to tell black women, this is the author of the Mary Claire who said marriage is not for black women. She's not an ally, guys. She's your enemy. If a white woman wrote an article like this and said the things she said, you would be frying her with hot sauce and ketchup. Let me finish. All right? Blue protected my heart when my black peers ostracized my enjoyment of complete, complex sentences. I just want to say this. She's lying. Because if she was going to a top performing school, that means those black people were nerds, just like I was. I doubt it that they were not intelligent as she was or not as nerdy. I'm a nerd. I got the comic books to prove it. If you're going to a school that is proportionately Caucasian, that means the people who are minorities in that school are just as smart as you are. I don't know. If she probably says she went to public schools in bad areas, then probably it's believable, but her mother went out of their way. I didn't say it, she did. Her mother went out of her way to put her into a school that was performing very well and had Indians or Asians, and she even said it was 70% white. So the minorities that get into those types of schools have to perform well to keep up in such a good school. So who are the black people ostracizing her for using complete and complex sentences? I'm just saying. All right? I'm just saying. Yellow blocked my ears when whispers floated through my ear at my ex-white American boyfriend's home like haunted ghosts. I can't believe he is dating a black girl. The words pass like a gentle breeze, barely creating flutter. And let me tell you something. I'm Jamaican. She's Trini. The racism is there. If you go to Jamaica, Jamaicans will not be as open. Not bad, but not as open as someone if you're dating the same race. There's discrimination there too. I'm pretty sure she walked with her hand going through some Tobago, and you have a white boy. It happens no matter where you go. The Caribbeans are the utopia in that way. Let's get real. All right. I existed right there on the fringe of ugly, ignorant, and uncultured. Okay? I don't even know what she's saying. I existed right there on the fridge of ugly, ignorant, and uncultured. So probably she felt ugly, ignorant, uncultured. I'm not sure. Black, but not black enough for my positive attributes to be justified. So why didn't she justify them? I went through that as being a black Jamaican, and I was hyper aggressive and being ambitious. And when people would say anything that, oh, because you're Jamaican, I would say no. Because I was smart enough to realize that as I get older, white people don't care what island I'm from. All they're going to see is my skin. So I spoke well and this is who I am. And there's plenty like me. And some of you guys have heard me say this. This is who I am. There's plenty of nerdy Connies. I'm not the only one. There's plenty of us. All right. So yellow blocked my ears when whispers floated through the air at my ex-white American boyfriend's home like a haunted ghost. I can't believe he's dating a black girl. The words passed like a gentle breeze, barely creating flutter. I existed right there on the fridge of ugly, ignorant, and uncultured. Black, but not black. Enough for positive attributes to be justified. Where are you from? potential dates asked when they met me. I am from Trinidad and Tobago, I said. Oh, that's why you are so beautiful and exotic. I knew you couldn't be all black. Sweetheart, black women get that all the time when they're light skinned or when they have a weave that looks really, really tight. It's that wheat's on flat. This is not something that even in Trinidad that would happen to her. That would happen to her in Trinidad. That's not something that's you see. This is why, as a Caribbean person, that happens everywhere. They look for high yellow or mixed looking people. That's just how society is. There is no utopia. All right. I'm going to continue. Black people really don't know how to. Oh. I went too far. I hope my screen don't get frozen. Give me one moment. Even the computer's like, what's going on here? But oh no, what's going on with this computer? Okay, I'll just touch the screen here. Oh, that's not working. Okay, black people really don't know how to swim. My coworker once told me I worked as a swim instructor at my neighborhood's pool. What about me? I asked. Oh, you aren't black. You're from Trinidad. And this is what I'm saying. She probably was in middle America. Trinidad and Tobago is not a giant nation. That's your opportunity to educate people. And if you don't want to educate people, then you're going to have to deal. I'm Jamaican. Jamaica is a much more popular island. But even if I went to other places, people aren't familiar. You go to Florida, you'd be hard pressed to find a golden crust. You go to other nations, you'd be hard pressed to find, Jamaican things. We're a tiny Caribbean, a small place. And it's her opportunity to educate. But she chose not to, and that's her choice too. The black children didn't like to read very much. I overheard one librarian discussing with another while I sat down reading a book a couple of feet away. They passed right by me with smiles. I mean, she's tolerating this type of feedback. And I'm not going to lie to you. When I was growing up, my black friends would say stuff to me about reading and collect comic books. My Hispanic friends, my white friends were nerds. Nerds are oddities to begin with, no matter where you are. But if she felt that there was some type of unfair stereotype, that was her opportunity to open her mouth and enlighten people. Lack of familiarity breeds contempt. Let's say it again. Lack of familiarity breeds contempt. When people aren't familiar, when people don't know, it breeds contempt. And people are saying this to her face, thinking it's okay. So this is, no matter what, to a certain extent, if it was so traumatizing, she wouldn't have been able to finish school. She wouldn't have been able to graduate from high school and graduate from a private school. And those types of experiences, it's going to happen sometimes. But, you have the opportunity to, not take it so serious. Let me try to go back. Let me try to open this page again because I'm going back, trying to get on that page. And let me close out this one. All right. So now we're here. We're back in business. All right. So that's what I'm just trying to say. You really have to be careful. All right. Because no matter where you go, you're going to have challenges. But for someone to make believe that the Caribbean is free of racism, I mean, if I Google Trinidad and Tobago, you're going to see the clashes they have between the East Indian descents and the black people. You're going to see. All right. I don't have to do that. You can do that on your own. That'll keep us here together all day. Um, I'm trying to go up here now. I was the model minority, absent yet present. All right. Which it's funny because she made herself a model minority. She could have easily spoken up about what she is, to say, hey, that's not true. I'm black, whatever. The yardstick to which other minorities were measured. If I could finish high school and college, why couldn't so many African American people find their way out of the hoods and pull themselves up by their bootstraps? If I could speak English without using a single Ebonic slang, why do so many others call themselves niggas? Again, I'm trying to warn black women. You got to be careful. Y'all listening to her and Mary Claire. This is obviously someone that has an issue as a black Caribbean with black Americans. And I'm telling you that as a black American. If I managed to make it through 22 years without contracting an STD or getting pregnant, why do black women have the highest statistical risk of disease and teenage motherhood? Daddy America looked to me to prove that he did something right. After all, one of his children turned out all right. The others must be simply problem kids. So, what I'm trying to say here is, what is she trying to prove? Is she unhappy that she's not a statistic and that she actually can present? Don't you see what she did? She could have easily, she came here since the age of 4. She could have easily said, I'm American. I've been here since 4. I am an American. I am proof. I am proof that you can be black and successful. But she purposely segregated herself. I hope you guys get it. And said she's not American. If she would have told these guys, you're 4 years old, you're American, you're from Trinidad and Tobago, you left your country when you were 4. Do you even remember? Who here remembers anything when they were 4 years old? Raise their hand. Come on, man. Come on, man. This is ridiculous. She could have easily said, you know what? I am American. I was born in Trinidad. I came when I was 4. Anything great about her? The fact that she can read well, the fact that she's articulate, the fact came from the American education system, not Trinidad. And that was her opportunity because I went through the same thing. Anything that came from you intellectually didn't come from Trinidad. It came from you being an American. But she hates America so bad that she refuses to attribute what this country gave to her, which was the American dream. That's why your mother brought you here. And it's very hurtful to me as a fellow Caribbean to see you shit on your black sisters and your black brothers in this sense, which is very rare coming out of my mouth on Hasesput. But I have to say this because you are disgracing Caribbean people. You're fitting every stereotype that we think we're better, that we think you're this, and it's fine. You know what? God bless you. It is perfectly fine. It's a free country. Not everyone has to agree. But when you go into Mary Claire and don't tell people that you're Trinidadian, you don't tell people that you are not an American, that you don't consider yourself an American. You don't tell people that you hated this country so bad that you left in 2013. You don't tell people your boyfriend or whoever you're dating who doesn't want to get married, he's un-American either. But you go to a white publication and trash black women with fake stats. You know what? I'm probably going to make the video a little bit longer. I have stuff to do, but I have to finish all this. All right? You are the one that created separatism. When you say the others must be simply problem kids, you are the one, Tiffany, that emphasized that you were not American. It was you. You were the one who missed the opportunity to make your fellow black people look good, like I do. I always say I'm Jamaican American. I always say I am an American. Even though my entire family, I can easily say I'm not an American. I haven't even had a Jamaican person in my family buried here. The first person in my family to be born here is my nephew. I can clearly say I'm not Jamaican, but I have Jamaican blood, but I have the nationality of an American. My education, everything. I have the best of both worlds. Just like Italian American, just like an Irish American, just like if you're Scottish American, just like if you're Nigerian American. What you did is choose to separate yourself, then stand there with your finger in your mouth and say, oh, they're making it look like I'm an oddity. No, you're doing that to yourself. All right? I survived because I was never able to make America my home. So you made America your home to take financial aid. You make America your home to get an education. You make America your home to get a bachelor's from the new school. You make America your home to further your career. You're publishing stuff in American journals. I never watched my childhood neighborhood become whitened by helicopter lights in search of criminals or hipsters in search of apartments. No state, city, or town has been a mother to me. cradling generations of my family near her bosom, to then be destroyed by employment or poverty. No school system had the opportunity or time to regulate me to remedial, rejected, or unteachable. I never accepted the misogynistic, drug-infested, stripper, glamorizing hip-hop culture that is force-fed to black youths through square tubes. I am not a product of a state of greatness, but a byproduct of emptiness. So she's basically saying that the good stuff about her came because she rejected the bad stuff. I don't understand why she's upset. I don't understand. I'm Caribbean. I'm going to keep it real with you. She's successful because in the Caribbean culture, we don't have the social programs. We don't have the option to go on Section 8. We don't have that. When you come from the Caribbean, either you're very, very poor or you're very, very rich, which is why people leave their tropical, beautiful, warm island paradise. We leave places where you, as a tourist, might come and say, why the hell you live? Why you left here? It's because the economics, the opportunities are gone. There's just so much corruption. Everything's so backwards in terms of trying to secure financial freedom for your family. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay? So in that empty dark space, I found my blackness. I stripped myself of the labels, painfully peeling off one by one. Beneath them is wounded, disfigured, colored woman who refuses to be faceless anymore, remain hidden any longer. My face may be repulsive to some since it bears proof that race continues to be a problem. And sweetheart, I do HR. I know race is a problem in America, but you are part of that problem when you refuse to adapt a country that has 400 years of black slavery. When you refuse to accept the fact the only reason you're in Trinidad is because the boats dropped you off the other way. The most concentration of black people is in, where I think it's South America, Brazil. We all came from the same continent, perhaps the same coast, the Ivory or the Gold Coast. Okay? But what I want to tell you is when you are a successful person of color and you separate yourself when you've been here since 4, what if I did that? What if I said, I've been here since I was 12? What if I said, I was born here, but, you know, I was raised in a Jamaican culture? You had the opportunity to be American. You rejected it. And you only saw what was bad, which is okay. You know what? I enjoy that. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed reading this. But don't go into Mary Claire and pretend that you're American and pretend that you try to work with American principles and an American, you did not. You rejected it from the beginning. All right? I listen to what she said. I was already back in Trinidad and Tobago when the Trayvon Martin verdict came down last week. I wasn't surprised, but I was speechless. My hope is that it will force Americans to re-examine their post-racial beliefs. A friend of mine posted on my Facebook page, "You made the right choice. I think I did too. I have found freedom by leaving the land of the free." So just for shits and giggles, all right? She says she's free in Trinidad. And this is me not knowing what's going to come up. Trinidad and Tobago, okay, let's just say uh, racism. And again, guys, I don't know what's coming up. Nothing can come up. Transitional anti-black racism and state violence in Trinidad. Would you look there? Transitional anti-black racism and state violence. Oh, wow. You mean there's anti-racism? The recent explosion in protests against anti-black racism and state violence in many U.S. urban centers had parallels with realities in historically black, working class, and undeveloped areas of capital of Trinidad and Tobago, Port of Spain. All right? To many outsiders, Trinidad is known for its carnival, calypso, and multiculturalism. However, there's a violent side to everyday life here. In 2013, United Nations Global Study on Homicide, Trinidad and Tobago, a small, energy-rich state comprised of 2 islands and a population of 1.3 million, was ranked the 12th most murderous nation in the world, with a murder rate of 28.3 per 100,000 people. Let's say this again. Dun, 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 dun. That's the Batman theme. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. In 2013, United Nations Global Study on Homicide, Trinidad and Tobago, a small energy-rich state comprised of 2 islands and a population of 1.3 million, was ranked the 12th most murderous nation in the world, with a murder rate of 28.3 per 100,000 people. In an ethnically diverse nation like Trinidad and Tobago, the three main demographic groups are Indo-Trinidad, 37%, Afro-Trinidad, 36%, and Mixed Trinidadian, 24%. Ethical political parties have rotated in and out of the government in each election since the 1990s, yet each government has blamed the same group for the nation's murderous violence, continuing a tradition begun under colonialism. So they're still operating under colonialism. Yes, America, we're screwy, we got issues, but these guys are still under colonialism. The current People's Partnership government is no exception, with Prime Minister Camilla Bashir single out marauding groups of thugs bent on creating havoc in our society. In a transnational language of anti-black racism, these groups of thugs are infamy are for young Afro-Trinidadian working class males from historically impoverished areas, responding to allegations of racial profiling back in 2011 that the majority of crimes in Trinidad and Tobago are committed by Afro-Trinidadians against other Afro-Trinidadians, adding that this race was also comprised of the majority of prison population. So when I tell y'all to listen, I'm the Batman. I'm the Batman. This lady is telling you she free. She might be dead by the time she got a chance to see this video. Just as it was in colonial times, Trinidad and Tobago's political elite decimates an uncomplicated image of crime that links criminality with poor, urban, opportunistic Afro-Trinidadians, males who kill each other. Rarely are any other groups in society implicated. There is an irony not lost on many locals. So Trinidad and Tobago is well known for never ending list of white collar crimes. All right? Yeah. Without any acknowledgement of the ways that cultivate advantages and disadvantages overlap with race and class in Trinidad and Tobago, Sandy went off to offer 5 years of police statistics showing that 1,668 or 72.3% of the 2,307 persons murdered in Trinidad were of African descent, having marked poor, black, inner city males and the areas in which they live as targets for intervention. Prime Minister Bissessar told the nation that she was committed to unleashing the dogs of war on criminals. She means unleashing the dogs of war on black men. Likewise, Deputy Police Commissioner let the public know that this is war and we will win. Recent interventions in predominantly poor and black areas are numerous and have included declaring a state of emergency, putting the police and army together on joint patrols. Oh, wow. Millions of US dollars have been lost on failed sports programs supposedly able to solve the crime problem. Millions of US dollars. Millions of US dollars. Millions of US dollars have been lost on failed sports programs supposedly able to solve the crime problem, and the full embrace of United States led war on drugs has continued accompanied by economic aid and militarization. In response to media reports that police officers had shot 2 Afro-Trinidadian teens, brothers in the back, then Minister of National Security Gary Griffin, a soldier by training, left little doubt about what happens in poor black neighborhoods when they are policed as war zones. I think it'll be inappropriate to state that police are abusing their power, Griff told the press. They are in a war and need to protect themselves. So, guys, let's give Miss Trinidad a hand for coming to Mary Claire and fooling y'all and pulling the wool over your eye. I think she's doing great. I want to give this sister a hand because she's getting named for herself because nobody's fact checking her. All right, she went back to Trinidad. I'm going to say a Hail Mary full of grace. I hope she survives her trip back because it looks like they're having some issues and they're shooting black people. Um, let's see right now. Race, our biggest issue. The Trinidad Guardian newspaper. Didn't she say that she's free? What are we reading right here? Didn't she say she's good? What's happening? Dun, 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 dun. What's that Batman? Where's my Batman? I gotta get the Batman for this. I'm gonna pat myself on the back because this is why I don't understand how people come to this country and play these games with us. She said she's going back to Trinidad because Trinidad doesn't have racism and Trinidad doesn't do the discrimination. She talked about Trayvon Martin and she talked about Trayvon Martin. And I don't get it. I don't get it. You're having the same issues. And it's a tiny country. It's only 1.3 million people. 1.3 million people. So this is an article about race. Yeah, it says, I think race is the most important issue in Trinidad and Tobago. It has become the single most deleterious factor preventing us from truly becoming a nation. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. It's I don't know. So let's leave that there. And I just that's why I'm saying it's really important. This is her LinkedIn profile. Again, she's a beautiful black woman, nice hair. She went to the new school, and she graduated. She has a bachelor's of science in writing. So she got an education that a lot of African Americans didn't get because she doesn't consider herself one, but I do. And she's shitting on it still. This is a new school. The tuition there per term is 22,620. So either she got some wicked ass financial aid or her mom did her job. I guess that nanny job was paying off. This school costs about, I believe, $40,000 a year without financial aid. $40,000. Just think about that the next time you read about this. So I want to talk about what she talked about in the Mary Claire article. I hate to keep you guys so long. If you guys are still here, God bless you, whatever. But I want to get off this real quick, but I can't because I just can't. I can't take the nonsense. So she talked about the marriage penalty, and to a lot of you guys who aren't tax savvy, all the marriage penalty means is that your tax bracket when you pay taxes might change. If you're black, you really don't have nothing to worry about unless one of you make substantially more. And even if you do, you can file jointly or you can file separate. End of it. You can file jointly or you can file separate. All right. So ending marriage penalty could hurt the poor. So she talked about the marriage penalty. All right. And not even like she tricked y'all. She kind of made y'all think you're going to pay a penalty just for getting married. It's not true. Sorry about that. So it says ending marriage penalty could hurt the poor. I'm going to go real quick. Couples thinking of tying a knot can check online calculators to see how they would affect their tax liability. But there's little evidence that federal tax rates have much of an impact on whether couples say I do. More facts for you. In 2001, changes in tax laws generally reduced marriage penalties and increased marriage bonuses. Let's say it again. In 2001, changes in tax laws generally reduced marriage penalties and increased marriage bonuses. But the steady decline in marriage rates continued. So the government actually wants you guys to get married, and they're actually trying to increase the rate of marriage by making the tax laws in favor of poor couples. Same-sex couples are fighting for the right to marry, even though many will pay higher income taxes than singles do. And same-sex couples, depending if you're a high rating. Okay? So some experts have proposed taxing income on an individual rather than joint based to make the tax code marriage neutral. So basically, it's all about how you're earning. Okay, the steepest marriage penalties are experienced by low-income couples because eligibility for need-based programs is determined by combined income, and most benefits are cut back sharply as income rises, as they should. If you get married, that's the whole economic benefit that you guys push yourself out of a poor bracket, not scream, beg, and curse to be poor. For some low-income couples, marriage penalties can approach or even exceed 100%. That is, the loss of benefits like childcare, food, housing, and tax assistance is greater than income in the household. So you only lose that if you don't qualify anymore. So I don't understand. Why would you be upset that you don't qualify to be poor? If you're combining two incomes, that's the whole point. You combine two incomes, you're not living separately anymore. You got two people sharing a light bill, two people sharing the gas bill, two people sharing, grocery bill, two people sharing. That's the whole point of marriage. That's why when you get married, they combine the income. And if you don't qualify, they drop you out of it. It's not for you to get married and stay on social programs for the rest of your life. And anyway, you see who's president. That stuff is not going to be here anyway. So depending on the government for programs is not a safe way to make your life plans. All right. So right here you can see. So should the same earned tax income credit be available to a single parent supporting a family of 20,000 a year and to a parent earning 20,000 whose spouse earns 80,000? And guys, again, what you can do is make sure when you file, if you're in that range of slant, somebody makes much more, you make much less. And again, no one's taking anything away from you. Okay? No one's taking anything away from you. When you earn a certain amount, you get pushed out of that bracket because you don't qualify for it legally. So the marriage penalty, it's such a broad thing depending on how much you make. You don't lose money automatically. That's just, I'm sorry. It's just not true what she was saying. Understanding the marriage penalty and marriage bonus. You get a lot of bonus when you're married. A marriage penalty or bonus is a change in couple's total tax bill as a result of getting married and thus filing their taxes jointly. That's all it means. Marriage bonuses typically occur when two individuals with disparate incomes marry. All right? So this is the key word. That's the key word. That's the key word. All right? Let's play that Batman. Because the lies got to stop, guys. It just got to stop. People scaring black people to get married, making up stuff that's not even true. We're going to stop it today. No more. No more. Marriage bonuses can be high as 20% of a couple's income. Bonus means you get money back. And marriage penalties can be as high as 12%. And that's for people who are earning significantly high. I think I covered this in my last video. All right? While research shows that marriage penalties and bonuses do not have an effect on whether a couple will marry, they do impact how much spouses work. So that's another lie she said. Most black people, most humans don't sit and talk about their taxes. If they did, marriage would probably never get divorced because economics and finances are the number one reason. So if people were to actually sort out their finances before they get married, divorce wouldn't be an issue. But that doesn't happen. What black person or black man say, sorry, baby, can't marry you. My tax is going to increase by 12% because I make 100. Come on, man. This is what happens when we don't want to take accountability. If you truly are passionate, if you truly are quote unquote pro-black and you want to fix the things in the black community, it's called AAA. Acknowledge, accountability, awareness. You can't fix things when you refuse to acknowledge. It's the culture of marriage. It's the culture that's killing us. It's the culture of marriage. But I got another surprise for you. I got a surprise for you. Where are we going to go? I have all this fun stuff for you, but I had a really fun thing for you. Where is it? I'm trying to see. Where can I get this here? Don't tell me I erased it. So this is what I wanted to show you. Black ladies, I'm going to say it again. I'm not saying listen to me only. Because fact check Connie. Check me out. Check me out on LinkedIn. Fact check Connie. All right? Fact check Connie. Look at this young lady. A chance meeting online led to love in Trinidad. So she didn't even meet her partner that won't marry her in America. Okay? This is the guy that she's with. And she puts Tiffany, Joshua, his name is Joshua McCartner, Trinidad, and New York, 2013. Their status is dating. Okay? Before college graduation, that's Game of Thrones. Before college graduation, I realized that I needed a break from living in the U.S. Remember she said she's done with America? I needed a change. I was born in Trinidad, but my mother moved us to America for a better life. I was a permanent resident, but I felt like the American dream wasn't paying out for me. And America's issues with race weighed on me heavily. So she's ignoring all the race issues in Trinidad. If you guys are still with me, God bless you. I channeled my feelings into a piece entitled Goodbye to My American Dream. where I share my experience of being Black in America and explain my decision to move back to Trinidad. So you have a Black woman who doesn't claim America, doesn't say anything significant about America, telling other Black American women not to get married. I love it. Okay, unbeknownst to me, Joshua read the piece and was moved by my words. Initially, he wasn't going to write a comment, but he showed it to his brothers and they encouraged him to write me. It took him a few weeks, but he eventually left a comment. So this is her and I guess her boyfriend. Okay. Coincidentally, a friend of mine urged me to give the comments a look because she said some of them were really outrageous. That's when I saw Joshua's post. I immediately thought it was one of the best things I've ever read in my life. By this time, I was already living in Trinidad, but I needed to know the person who wrote the comment. So I sent him a reply and told him to find me on Facebook. This was in October 2013, and we spent the next 2 months talking online. We would Facebook, Skype, G-chat, and talk all night on the phone like you see in the movies. I had never met a guy who I connected with intellectually. So it was nice to meet someone whose mind I appreciated. Plus, he was really cute. That December, we decided to meet up in New York City. What I had hoped to be a romantic meeting turned out to be a complete disaster. My mother was extremely angry that I was meeting a random man that I met online in New York. So as soon as I landed in the city, I had to take Joshua to meet her. I truly believe that everyone is a stranger until you meet them, but my mom clearly didn't agree with my outlook. Yeah, because your mom cares about you. Yeah. What a bad mom, right? In addition, it was the middle of the winter, so the weather was beyond cold. We couldn't hang out at my mom's house, and it was too cold outside. So we ended up riding the train so we can talk. So you mean to tell me this guy couldn't take you for a cup of coffee or for a drink? Yeah. Needless to say, there were no sparks of romance during our first 2 weeks together. Yeah, I wouldn't have sparks of romance with somebody who just wanted to ride the train up and down. My apartment was in Mara Villa mountain area, which is pretty high and overlooks a valley. We went to a party at my neighbor's house, and at midnight, fireworks started going off all around us. It was 10 times better than the ball drop in New York City, and I was so happy to be alive for New Year and to have this new man by my side. Joshua was done with school, all right? And she's done with school. So I decided to stay in Trinidad for the next 3 months. After his 90 days, his visa expired, and I was missing my family in America, so we went to New York. That's her and her boyfriend. After a few months in New York, we got the travel itch again, so we decided to do a tour of Asia. We saved up money and decided to start our journey in Thailand. Does she sound like she's really impoverished? Does she sound like someone that's been suffering America? She was able to go to Trinidad, Thailand, all over. I'm kind of jealous here. She's traveling really nicely with the hatefulness that she got from the United States. Then, to our surprise, there was a bombing in Bangkok, on August 17, 2015. I'm glad she's safe. The day before we planned to arrive, my family was concerned, but I looked at Joshua and we decided to go anyway. Even though we landed in Bangkok, we quickly got out of the city and went to Pek and the Phu Islands, or Phu, whatever that is. We're currently in Thailand, training at a Muay Thai boxing camp, exploring different villages and eating some seriously fresh and amazing food. Soon we'll head to Vietnam, China, and the Philippines before going back to Trinidad for Carnival. So this lifestyle that she has, where she's able to travel, enjoy different countries, obviously she's doing well. Does she sound like someone who's in debt? Does she sound like someone who needs money? Does she sound like someone who can't afford marriage or another black woman making excuses? Let's rewind that. Hold on. You know what? I think I earned another one. Hold on. Aw, son. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, that's the whole Batman theme. Because this is why I keep telling black ladies, I love you. I want you to be happy. I believe if you want something, you can have it. I believe in the law of attraction. I believe, look at her. She's all over the world. You guys are she's telling you you can't get married, right? Because of budgets and loans and stuff. Her man is done with college. She's done with college. Does it sound like they're in debt to you? When you graduate from college, because I was in debt, I wasn't able to go to Thailand and China and the Philippines and back to Trinidad and the Vietnam. I'm actually reading on the screen. And she was also in Bangkok before, and they were in Thailand. This is why I'm trying to tell people, stop listening. If you want to do something, if you want to dump yourself in tar and feathers, you do what you got to do. But stop listening to people. Stop it. Stop listening to people that are not, they're not even Americans. They're not even considering themselves Americans. So let's go right here. We're going to finish this real soon. I'm sorry, guys. All right. So marriage bonuses, research shows that marriage penalties and bonuses don't have effect on whether couples marry. We went there already. Here's what marriage does and doesn't do to your credit score. Because someone talked about credit score. Marriage doesn't give you a fresh start on your credit and doesn't doom you if you marry someone with a lower score. Just be cautious with these new joint accounts. So actually, when you marry someone has great credit and you have bad credit, you can actually combine and you can actually help to get that person's credit up. So marriage doesn't affect your credit score if you take your spouse's last name. So it teaches you what marriage does and does not affect. And a lot of the stuff they were saying in the article, that's not true. Okay, your credit score will continue to be tracked separately and is tied to your individual social security number. So your spouse having bad credit, if you have good, doesn't really affect you. So again, with the Batman noise. All right. Money in marriage, how getting money changes your finances. So you guys, I'll put this information there, how marriage affects your health insurance. All right. You can actually save money. You can save money. All right. You can save money on your auto insurance. All right. If you get married, they reduce your auto insurance. You can save money on home insurance. You can save money on long-term insurance because health insurance people like people who are married, and you can save up to 40% because they think in their mind, not they think, they know married people live longer. So, and that's because spouses are likely to care for each other at home whenever possible when a single person doesn't have that option. And right now you can see here, health and marriage insurance, all right? You can actually add somebody onto your plan. So there's a lot of great benefits to being married that she didn't tell the truth about. All right. There's tax benefits of marriage and a marriage tax penalty. So, childless couples earning between $37,000 and $171,000 per year who took the standard deduction generally face no penalty. All right. So if you have no children, all right, and you're making between $37,000 and $171,000 as a couple, there's no tax penalty. And you can even get a marriage tax benefit as high as 6%. This is why facts matter. I am Batman. I will rescue you. Okay? Look at here. How marriage impacts your retirement contributions and benefits. Single people can contribute the maximum amount. Okay, a marriage can contribute the maximum amount. There's so much money benefits. This is why the economics of marriage matters to our government. I'm not making this stuff up, man. You know, and this talks about loans. So student loans and marriages. 4 facts you should know before tying the knot. Okay, how much debt are you bringing to the table? Your income-driven plan may change. Your spouse could be responsible for your loans, so look into that. Not every lender allows you to refinance student loans jointly. Final word. Hello. Final word. So it's what she's saying. If you got a loan, guys, it makes me so mad. Black women, you're smart. I trust that you know that what she said is wrong. If you got a loan and the loan is done and you're graduating from college and you're done, like she's graduated, he's graduated, all right? They're lying to you. You cannot have your loan change because you got married. It's a dead loan. Once you're paying it back, that's it. You took the loan, you graduate from college, they can't do anything to you. That's it. It's a dead loan. That's it. That's it. They can't do anything to you unless you're getting married when you're 21, 22, 23, 24, and you're applying, which is extremely rare because the average African American or even the average American period doesn't get married at those young ages. That's very young. Those ages are outdated. People don't get married at 18, 19, 20, 21. If you get married while applying for a FAFSA or a school loan, yeah, that might be a little bit of a challenge, but even so, you can work your way around it unless both of you are making over $171,000. Let's go now. 4 financial considerations for married grad students. So that's what they're saying. The majority of people that might take a loan out while they're married might be grad students, people in their late 20s, going to their early 30s. But still, there's ways to work out How will being married affect financial aid? They talk about it. They talk about it. What if the spouse loses their job? Can you pay for housing for both spouses? There's a lot of stuff that you can do. It's not this dead end dreary thing that was happening. Also, right here, this is what I want to talk about, the actual facts. I'm going to end the video on this. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. All right. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, so I want to end the video on this note right here. It's an SSSN, all right? SSN, Scholar Strategy Network, research to improve policy and strengthen democracy. Why has marriage declined among Black Americans? Oh my gosh, actual facts. This is how we're going to end the video, guys. Actual facts. Actual facts. One of the most important social changes unfolding in the United States over the past half century has been the decline of institution of marriage, a decline especially steep among Blacks. In 1960, roughly 74% of whites were married, and the rate dropped to 56% in 2008. That's a big drop, but not compared to the plummeting rates for Blacks. In 1960, 61% of Blacks were married in 1960, but by 2008, it was only 32%. Blacks also get divorced more often and remarry less frequently than whites. Scholars and public observers worry because, after all, marriage has historically produced many benefits. Individuals who are married enjoy better physical and mental health, have more social ties, and higher household incomes, accumulate more wealth, and raise children who do better in terms of health and social outcomes than the children of unmarried parents. Because the decline of marriage has been so sharp among Blacks, this group has received close scrutiny. Some analysts argue that Black women in particular place little value on marriage. Not true. But much evidence contradicts this argument and suggests instead that social deprivations make it hard for Black women to find suitable partners. So that is not true. Black women place high value on marriage, very high value. Um, so high value that we are more traditional than we acknowledge. All right, in 1965, research report The Negro Family, The Case for National Action, Daniel Patrick Moynihan, a social scientist who later became a U.S. Senator, argued that high poverty rates among Blacks were in significant part due to deformed cultural values. Like I said, the culture of marriage. After difficult historical experiences, he argued Black women preferred matriarchal families and their values contributed to disproportionately high rates of childbearing outside of marriage. In turn, Black families without fathers led to larger social ills such as crime, joblessness, poverty, and overdependence on welfare. At the heart of the deterioration of the fabric of the Negro society, it's the deterioration of the Negro family, Moynihan concluded. This is something I said. All right, it's not new. Do empirical data support this argument? Using data from 21 cities, social psychologist Belinda Tucker examined 10 different values related to marriage, such as the belief it is important to marry one day, the view that marriage is important for raising children. She found no racial ethnic differences between whites and Blacks on the value measures. And where there were significant differences, Black women actually valued marriage more than whites. Thank you. Social economic barriers to marriage. Ever since Moynihan presented this argument, other scholars have accumulated considerable evidence that social economic impediments to marriage matter more than value orientations. Aspirations are not the issue in this view, so much as the dearth of what William Julius Wilson calls marriageable Black men. So there's a lack of marriageable Black men. In part, the men are not just there in many Black communities. Mortality rates are higher for Black men, and Black men are also very often imprisoned. In 2010, 4,347 out of every 100,000 Black men were in prison, a rate that was 6 times higher than the imprisonment rate for white men. Even more important, the characteristics and life situations of many Black men fall well short of women's preferences. In 2010, the Pew Research, my favorite research, the Pew Research, asked respondents to rate the importance of various factors when choosing a mate and found that Black women have high aspirations. Asked how important it is that a good husband or provider provide a good income, 2/3 of Black women said it was very important compared to 32% of white women. Roughly 55% of Black women said it was very important for a husband or partner to be well educated compared to only 28% of white women. Half of Black women said that financial stability should be an important precondition for marriage, but only a quarter of white women said they felt that way. And the reason why white women aren't as sensitive is because they get that stuff regardless, on average statistically. Black women are more hypersensitive because they know, they're aware of this situation. So they're putting it on guard, they're putting it on alert. Men with such ideal characteristics are especially hard to find in low income communities. A highly acclaimed study by sociologists Catherine Eden and Maria Kefalis found that low income Black and Latina mothers value marriage highly, but see many financial barriers because potential partners have very low incomes and may be unemployed. Similarly, sociologists William Julius Wilson and Catherine Neckerman found that high unemployment was associated with low rates of marriage. And another study using dating from 1990 to 2009 found that a dearth of men with attractive social characteristics was in fact associated with high rates of families headed by women. Finally, a truly innovative study by Christian Hackenick and Sarah McLanahan simultaneously tested cultural and sociologic explanations. Even though Black women in the study had the strongest pro-married attitudes, okay? The high ratio of Black women to men and the undersupply of employed Black men fully explain the lower likelihood of marriage for Black women. Solutions to boost marriage: help Black men. Not me, not a mercy. Those who want to boost marriage rates should, among Black men, should focus on improving job opportunities and education for Black men. Guys, we've been trying to do that forever. Black men, if you're listening, entrepreneurship, 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 and more entrepreneurship. Get into real estate, open a business, open a wine store, open a moving company, open a home repair, get into lighting, entrepreneurship. Education not gonna cut it for you. You gotta have a network before you do that. That's all I have to say. In 2010, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 18.4% of Black men were jobless compared to only 9.6% of white men. Black men also earn lower wages than white men. Same thing like Black women. This is where I have to stop. The same thing that Black men go through in discriminatory things are the same thing Black women go through, even more because women have the other gender thing to worry about when you combine it with race. So what did we do? We worked harder. We got more degrees. We're underemployed because we're overqualified for these jobs. So it's not like we did a miracle. How could the women surpass the men? That doesn't make any sense. Even after holding education constant, Black men are still likely to be unemployed or economically deprived, causing them to fall short of what Black women are looking for in their partners. Finally, contrary to patterns found on other race ethnic groups, Black women have higher educational attainment than Black men. That's the problem. Yet this adds to the struggle to find the kinds of men they hope to marry. Black women values, in short, are not the problem. Black marriage rates are likely to rise only after America's Black men receive more economic opportunities. And if you're listening, Black men, you got to give it to yourself. Ain't nobody going to give it to you. You see how Black women gave it to herself by getting double degree, underemployed? Right now, Black women are the highest entrepreneurs in the United States by Forbes.com. Right now, Black women are the highest educated segment of society, but that they didn't increase their wealth, so they went into entrepreneurship. You got to do it. That's why I have Hassas for economics for Black women, because I see it. You got to get into it for yourself. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this video made sense. I kind of went all over the place, but I wanted to show you the real reason why marriage is hard for African Americans, marrying African Americans. It's because of economics. It's because of the culture of marriage. It's the culture of marriage. When I say economics, it's a cycle. The culture of marriage is broken, broken families, broken, poor poverty, again and again. But the actual reason is the cultural breakdown, the deformity of the tradition of marriage. You're listening to a girl who doesn't live in America, who left America in 2013, who is traveling all over the world but complaining she doesn't have money. They made, I don't know when the, I don't know. But if you have a child, you can afford marriage. If you can afford to go to Bangkok and Vietnam and all those countries that a lot of people who have money don't even want to go, can't even afford to go, you're going to be fine. So guys, I'm the bad